Hey guys, it's Raccoon. Today the anime I'm gonna recap is about vampires. When a human boy is taken back home by a vampire girl, what changes will he face in his life? Will he be sucked dry? Or? Let's start from not long ago. The boy's name is Koyamori, a handsome student in Junior 2. He has no interests in romance. But after he rejected a girl in his class, he was directly accused of being a playboy by other girls. From that day on, he was plagued by insomnia and no longer went to school for the fear of encountering such things again. This night, Koyamori hangs out on the street without telling his parents for the first time. Passing by a vending machine that sells alcohol, he decides to buy one secretly out of curiosity, but he is scared by a girl comes out of nowhere. Minors are not allowed to drink alcohol. Koyamori quickly lies that he got the wrong one. As he is about to run away, the girl stops him. The girl's name is Nazuna. She is now enthusiastically luring Koyamori to sleep with her in her house. It is hard to refuse such a warm inviting, so Koyamori follows her home. As a result, when Koyamori finds there is only one bed in the room, Nazuna has taken her jacket off and shown her sexy body. Koyamori begins to suspect that the girl is trying to do something shy, so he subconsciously wants to escape, but is stopped by the girl again. She tempts Koyamori to have a good sleep here. Being not able to escape now, Koyamori pretends to be asleep and plans to run away late at night. At this moment, Nazuna shows her sharp teeth and bites on the neck of Koyamori. Then, Nazuna can't help shouting that this guy is so delicious. Koyamori soon notices the blood on his neck and infers that Nazuna is a vampire. Nazuna does not deny it. It frightens Koyamori. He is worried about himself becoming a vampire since he was bitten by Nazuna. But Nazuna tells him the blood-sucking on him is just a meal for her. Only when a human falls in love with the vampire who sucked his blood will he become a vampire. After saying this, Nazuna unexpectedly blushes. Then, they go out for a walk since Koyamori still can't sleep. It turns out that Nazuna was shy because the process of transforming a human into a vampire is just like how humans find their partner as they get intimate. The human will be transformed when he is completely in love with the vampire sucking his blood. Seeing Nazuna being so free, Koyamori doesn't want to live a constrained school life anymore. He wants to be a free vampire like her. So he says sincerely, "Please let me fall in love with you." It is her first time to hear such a request. Instead of rejecting directly, she says that she will do nothing but sucking blood. After this night, Koyamori stays with Nazuna every night, hoping to fall in love with her by spending time together. Soon, Koyamori finds it difficult to see Nazuna because he doesn't have her contact. Meanwhile, Koyamori is also unhappy about Nazuna never coming to him. Nazuna explains she just went to find someone else to bite. Hearing this, Koyamori gets so angry. Ever since Nazuna likened vampires sucking blood to humans' intimate behavior with partners, Koyamori has taken Nazuna sucking blood everywhere as having affairs. Nazuna explains again that only sucking blood from someone in love with her is considered as intimate behavior. She needs to suck blood to feed herself daily, just like humans having food and drinks. Koyamori does not want to keep talking about this. His intention today is to exchange numbers with her. Unexpectedly, Nazuna does not have a cell phone in such an era of advanced communication. Nazuna does not care about it and she only wants to lie on Koyamori at this moment, enjoying his delicious blood. But Koyamori refuses her directly and tells her to go find someone else, because he is still upset about the fact that she had sucked blood from others, which means there's no difference between his blood and others since both of them can fill her stomach. Nazuna soon gets his point and tells him the truth that she is looking for him around the city as well. Koyamori gets consoled from her words. He then shows his neck with a little shyness. Seeing this, Nazuna bends down and sucks his delicious blood. When Koyamori looks at Nazuna falling asleep next to him, his heartbeat quickens. He realizes that he is now looking forward to seeing Nazuna every day. Koyamori brings the wristwatch walkie-talkie he used as a child to Nazuna. During their test to see if the walkie-talkie works, Koyamori feels like he is dating his girlfriend and wishes he can fall in love with Nazuna soon. When Nazuna hears this, she gets blushed. She suddenly shows up in front of Koyamori, taking him to fly up to the rooftop. She can't wait to suck his blood. When Koyamori calls her name affectionately, Nazuna's face turns redder, which is obviously a sign of extreme shyness. After saying goodbye to Nazuna, Koyamori walks on the way home alone. He looks at the other watch on his wrist, and recalls something happened in the past. He bought 2 watches when he was 9 but found no one to use the watches with him. After consideration, he decided to put one watch on the mailbox of a stranger so that he could communicate with the stranger. But his watch didn't get any message for a long time. So he went to the mailbox to see whether the watch was still there but found it nowhere. Since then, he has lost his courage to contact a stranger and put the watch away. At this moment, he notices a sound from his watch and his classmate Akira appears behind him. It turns out that the mailbox he put the watch on at that time belonged to Akira. At that time, Akira saw what he did at a short distance but thought that Koyamori gave this watch to her as a symbol of friendship. So she always considered Koyamori as her friend. This misunderstanding upsets Koyamori a little. He remembers that he was always alone due to his strange personality, and Akira always offered to play games with him. But eventually, Koyamori just greets Akira without telling her the truth. Then, Koyamori wonders why Akira is here at 4 a.m. Akira tells him that she wakes up early and enjoys walking to school. Before she leaves, she says that she hopes to see Koyamori tomorrow. The next day, Koyamori stays with Nazuna until she falls asleep as usual, but he intends to go home earlier. Nazuna teases him that he must have another girl to see since he leaves so early. Koyamori immediately denies, but Nazuna still has doubts. Koyamori turns to keep his appointment and comes to meet Akira. They sit on the bench in a park to have a chat. At this moment, Nazuna shows up. Koyamori gets panicked as if he was found cheating on his girlfriend. Akira also wonders what does the girl have to do with Koyamori. Nazuna says there is only physical attraction between them. Koyamori soon interrupts her and argues with her. From their intimate words, Akira guesses they both have an affection to each other. Hearing this, Nazuna gets blushed again. But she tries to prove that she does not like Koyamori by sucking his blood in front of Akira, revealing that she is a vampire. Then, they go to a tavern together. Akira soon accepts the fact that Nazuna is a vampire, but she thinks Nazuna leads Koyamori to a wrong way so he doesn't go to school. Though Akira does not like the school life either, she still invites Koyamori sincerely to go back to school with her because she wants him back to his way. Koyamori doesn't know how to answer it, but Nazuna misunderstands him. She thinks that Koyamori keeps silent because she is here, so she leaves the tavern angrily. Koyamori hurries to catch her up but gets tripped and falls. Although he does not know why Nazuna is angry, he still apologizes to her in the watch and hopes to make up with her. Nazuna finally shows up when she sees Koyamori care about her so much. She says that she is not angry but wonders why he did not answer Akira in time. Koyamori tells her it is because he does not know how to explain to humans that he wants to become a vampire. It sounds like a confession to Nazuna. When Nazuna notices Koyamori's bled mouth corner, she kisses him without hesitation, which shocks Koyamori because it is his first kiss. Nazuna tells him that he has a new vampire friend from now on and then flies away. Koyamori whispers, "Friends will never kiss." One day, Koyamori goes to find Nazuna secretly at night as usual but happens to see a couple kissing. He flushes in an instant. In his opinion, only couples can kiss. When he kissed Nazuna yesterday, he felt so nervous that he thought he had fallen in love with Nazuna. As his mind is wandering, Nazuna finds him. Koyamori directly pulls down his collar, asking Nazuna to suck his blood. He says he has fallen in love with her, so if Nazuna sucks his blood, he will become a vampire. But after Nazuna sucks his blood, nothing happens. Nazuna tells him that kissing can mean lust instead of love. Koyamori is a little bit shy. As a 14-year-old boy, he can't understand such feelings. The misunderstanding of falling in love with Nazuna comes to an end. Koyamori happens to meet Akira again at night. She goes to school at 12 in the morning this time. It seems that Akira has insomnia as well. So Koyamori invites her to Nazuna's place together. Akira thinks Koyamori must have done many bad things with a vampire since he dropped out of school. But as she stays with them, she finds that Koyamori does nothing else except for playing games and chatting with Nazuna. She also gets to know the appointment between Koyamori and Nazuna, that he will let Nazuna suck his blood until the day he falls in love with Nazuna and becomes a real vampire. In the past, when Akira asked Koyamori what he wanted to do in the future, he always kept silent. But this time, he says with determination that he desires to be a vampire. Under Nazuna's invitation, they have the last activity at night, which is to sleep together. It is Akira's first time sleeping with a boy, so she feels a little nervous. But when seeing Koyamori's young face, Akira then feels relaxed. She always treats Koyamori as her best friend. Though she supports him in achieving his goal of becoming a vampire, she still wishes him to go back to school. Then she makes an appointment with Koyamori that if he wants to go back to school one day, he must tell her first. This night, Akira finally gets to sleep well for 4 hours till the morning. Nazuna tells Akira, people can only sleep soundly when he is satisfied with the day. Maybe Akira feels relieved when she knows her friend, Koyamori, doesn't get depraved. Instead, he found his goal. Another night comes. Before Koyamori comes to her, Nazuna just plays games and watches TV alone, feeling the time running slow. She doesn't realize she is looking forward to spending time with Koyamori now. When she's having a bath in a bathhouse, she has her watch hand to the boss. As she just washes her head, the watch rings. She rushes out to find Koyamori immediately. Knowing that Nazuna went to the bathhouse, Koyamori says he also wants to take a bath. When he goes out from the bath, he sees Nazuna and gets flipped, asking her to suck his blood. This time, he feels some sort of pleasure and pain. Unfortunately, he still doesn't become a vampire. It seems that he is not in love with Nazuna completely, which means the emotion he had just now might be caused by lust. Nazuna can know Koyamori is thinking through the taste of his blood, but she doesn't care. As the emotion changes, the blood's taste will change as well. She enjoys sucking Koyamori's blood of different tastes every day. At this moment, Koyamori wonders how many people Nazuna had sucked before she met him. He doesn't want her to suck others' blood because it's like his girlfriend is having a close relationship with someone else. Seeing Koyamori being jealous, Nazuna starts talking about her past. She once ran a shop offering different services to help the guests fall asleep. As talking about the knowledge of sleep, she offers Koyamori the most expensive sleep-inducing service by massage. When the atmosphere is becoming romantic, Nazuna intends to suck his blood again. But the doorbell rings. It turns out that Nazuna forgot to remove the shop sign, so a guest comes. Since Nazuna just offered a massage service, she asks Koyamori to do the job, promising to give him half of the income and a kiss as his reward. Koyamori refuses to admit, but in fact he looks forward to the kiss, so he takes the job. The 24-year-old guest is named Kiyosumi, a worker in a company who is often called to work overtime by her superior. After enjoying Nazuna's massage once, she keeps it in mind. She thinks of this place again after a busy day. When she knows Koyamori is only 14 years old, she supposes he must be in trouble, so he needs to make money at such a young age. Koyamori tells Kiyosumi that he works here because he desires a free life at night. Now Kiyosumi doesn't know Koyamori actually wants to be a vampire. His words remind her of her school life. She also misses the empty street late at night and the feeling of owning the whole world. Then, Kiyosumi talks about herself. She hates the endless work and showing fake smiles to others. Just then, Kiyosumi's superior calls her to work overtime again. At this moment, Koyamori sees himself in the past, who also lived a life that he never wanted. Courageously, he stops Kiyosumi from going to work. The sound catches Nazuna's attention. When Kiyosumi sees Nazuna coming out from the wall, she is scared. Hearing that Koyamori is stopping Kiyosumi, Nazuna throws Kiyosumi out of the window like a mischief. When Kiyosumi thinks she is about to die, Koyamori grabs her hand and Nazuna saves the two falling persons. Koyamori feels so sorry after the safe landing, revealing that Nazuna is a vampire and he wants to be a vampire as well. He persuades Kiyosumi not to work extra but to stay with him to enjoy the night. Kiyosumi is so impressed with tonight's experience, but she still needs to live her life, so she decides to go back to work. Maybe this is the life of adults. Kiyosumi wishes Koyamori can be a vampire soon. Seeing Kiyosumi's leaving, Koyamori promises to turn her into a vampire if she can't stand human life one day. In response, Kiyosumi gives him a smile and accepts his kindness. After Kiyosumi leaves, Koyamori continues to try taking to Nazuna. One night, they decide to have a date in a swimming pool, which is faintly more romantic than that of daytime. Koyamori sees two strange men talking to Nazuna, which arouses his jealousy. He pulls Nazuna away and becomes upset. There are too many people in the swimming pool and he doesn't want to see other people try making friends with Nazuna easily. Nazuna scratches her head, then flying towards the swimming pool in his school with Koyamori. Now that Koyamori dislikes other people around, they can enjoy the pool alone here. Nazuna bites his neck again to feel his different emotions. Another night comes. When Koyamori goes to find Nazuna, it rains heavily. He is approached by a girl when he finds a shelter, and the girl seems to be interested in Koyamori, constantly teasing this 14-year-old teenager and grabbing his cola. As an innocent boy, he follows this girl to a remote corner. Then, the girl shows her real form, a vampire. As she is jumping on Koyamori, Nazuna shows up and cuts off one of the girl's arms. The girl isn't angry and just picks up her fallen arm to install it back, saying that Nazuna has broken the rules of the vampire since she stays with a human without turning him to be her partner. In this case, she will kill Koyamori. Then they begin to fight. Before Koyamori can react, another vampire shows up and takes Koyamori away. Then, Koyamori sees different types of beauties in front of him. It turns out that these beauties are all vampires. They've heard that Nazuna has been staying with a human recently without changing him into her partner. It is a major threat for vampires if humans get to know their custom. Therefore, these beauties start a contest, trying their best to get Koyamori's heart to make him their partner. But finding that Koyamori has no interest in them, they decide to kill this dull human who doesn't want to be a vampire. Hearing this, Koyamori soon indicates that he is dying to be a vampire and that's why he wants to be in love with Nazuna. Nazuna happens to hear his confession and flushes in an instant. Knowing that Nazuna has no intention to have a partner at all, the beauties force Nazuna to tell the difference between Koyamori and other humans. Koyamori answers first that Nazuna said his blood tasted better. Then, Koyamori frankly tells them that he has been wanting to become a vampire since he met Nazuna, and he will stick to it no matter how long it takes. Others are shocked, but Koyamori doesn't realize that he just declared that he would fall in love with Nazuna no matter what. They tell Koyamori that this is impossible, because there is a time limit. Humans only have 1 year to become vampires after they were sucked blood, which shocks Koyamori. But Nazuna doesn't care about it, rewarding Koyamori for helping massage with a kiss. Shortly after, Koyamori tells Akira about it. Akira thinks of a problem that if Koyamori cannot become a vampire in a year, according to their words, Koyamori will probably be killed because as a human, he already knows the characteristics of vampires, which frightens Koyamori. At night, Ko Yamori meets the vampire, Kikyo, who dueled with Nazuna before. Kikyo wonders how things are going between Ko Yamori and Nazuna, but surprisingly finds Ko Yamori is a junior high school student who hasn't been in love once. She soon becomes interested in him. As a love master, Kikyo intends to teach him love skills and prepares a list of dates for him. After knowing the time limit, Ko Yamori wants to fall in love with Nazuna as soon as possible so that he can become a vampire. Thus he takes the list to ask Nazuna for a date. Though typical dates like seeing a movie, drinking coffee and karaoke don't work for Nazuna, Ko Yamori's strange actions attract Nazuna's attention. She knows that there must be someone teaching him these strange dating skills. So she tells Ko Yamori that she considers their daily life a date, and she will be happy if they spend time together as usual. When they get separated, Ko Yamori meets his former classmate, Seiki, who was Akira and Ko Yamori's playmate when they were little. Soon after, they happen to meet Akira, who is on her way to school. They talk about their current situation. Recently, Seiki likes going outside at night, just like Ko Yamori, seemingly because he has a crush on a girl. Several days later, Ko Yamori meets Kikyo again. Kikyo seems to be in trouble, so he follows her to the KTV. Just then, a boy gets on the floor outside the room, who is coming to see Kikyo. It turns out that Kikyo hooked up with many men in order to increase the number of her partners. And the boy outside the room is one of Kikyo's admirers, who always stalks Kikyo. Kikyo tells Ko Yamori that if the boy is annoying, she will directly kill him. When Ko Yamori tries to persuade her, the boy has come in. Just as Kikyo rushes towards the boy, Ko Yamori saves him in time, running away with this overwhelmed boy. Ko Yamori learns from the clumsy boy named Akiyama that he met Kikyo one day when he was drunk, and they had a great time. He then can't help falling in love with her. Akiyama knows Kikyo doesn't really like him, but he still wants to see her. Kikyo soon finds them and Ko Yamori stands in front of Akiyama. As a powerful vampire, Kikyo won't be stopped by an ordinary human boy. Just when Kikyo is about to take action, Nazuna appears, who is worried about Ko Yamori being alone with Kikyo and has been following him secretly. Nazuna is puzzled as to why Kikyo wants to kill the boy this time. Kikyo is not a murderous vampire, but she is fed up with vampires approaching boys to find more partners. She also wants a friend like Ko Yamori. As everything to do with humans seems to be linked to love, Kikyo feels so tired. Akiyama is the only boy she can be friends with. To keep their friendship pure, she has no choice but to kill him. Kikyo cries for that. She doesn't want to lose Akiyama either, a friend who can listen to her. After hearing this, Akiyama says he does not want to be separated from her, so he asks her to turn him into a vampire to become her partner, by which he can be friends with her. Since Kikyo and Akiyama don't want to lose each other, Akiyama stretches out his arm to finish the ritual of becoming a vampire. Ko Yamori thinks it's a bit unfair because Akiyama is in love with Kikyo, but Kikyo only treats Akiyama as a friend. However, as long as they feel fine with it, others' opinions may be not that important. After that, Ko Yamori encounters another incident. The vampire, Ko Akobe, is working in a maid cafe. Recently, one of her colleagues is absent. She wants to ask her friend to cover for her colleague, but she doesn't want other charming girls to take away her popularity. So she thinks of Nazuna. In the lure of money, Nazuna accepts this work. Ko Yamori also experiences the maid cafe for the first time, where guests can enjoy the kind service of the lovely maids, as if they were the maids' masters. Ko Yamori meets another human maid in the cafe. She tells him she was the most popular girl in the maid cafe before Ko Akobe came. After Ko Akobe came here, with her cute appearance and enthusiasm, she becomes the most popular one. Not far away, Ko Akobe sees Ko Yamori surprised and can't help feeling happy. After work, Ko Akobe receives a strange email of maids' photos which are secretly taken. She thinks she was also secretly photographed, but Ko Yamori tells her the maid in the picture seems to be the human maid. Ko Akobe can't help marveling at the inside of Ko Yamori and asks Ko Yamori to help catch the stealthy photographer. Based on the angle of taking these photos, Ko Yamori thinks the photos may be not secretly taken by others. Just then, they hear someone coming in. Ko Yamori and Ko Akobe hurriedly hide in the closet of the dressing room, staying very close in the small space. Ko Yamori tells Ko Akobe that these photos look more like selfies. As expected, they see the human maid taking selfies. Since the truth is revealed, the human maid has to confess everything. Ever since Ko Akobe came to the maid cafe, she became second in popularity. In order to prove she is still popular, she fabricates a non-existent photographer. Ko Akobe tells her it is a mental disease. Just when she says she will resign, Ko Akobe says, "It is no big deal. A lot of people are getting themselves recognized in strange ways, including me, who came to the maid cafe to be admired. You're just taking the wrong direction. In fact, humans are basically sick, and all we can do is to accept it." The human maid is touched by these words, and she becomes friends with Ko Akobe. After this incident, they take a selfie together. Nazuna gets a considerable income by working in the maid cafe, which arouses her desire of earning money. so she buys new equipment to restart her business of helping others sleep. She asks Koyamori to look for guests who seemingly lack sleep late at night. When looking for clients, Koyamori finds a decadent woman. But the woman seems to have little interest in their services. Instead, she just wonders why Koyamori, a young boy, takes the initiative to chat with her. Koyamori is also curious about what the woman is doing for a living. At this moment, the woman takes out a business card. Her name is Uguisu, a detective who often helps investigate cheating, as well as finding missing persons. Uguisu takes out a photo of a man with glasses. Seeing the photo, Koyamori is surprised because the man in the photo turns out to be Akiyama, who became a vampire not long ago. He lies that he has never seen the man, but his expression catches Uguisu's attention. Uguisu then leaves in a hurry without asking him more. When she's alone, Uguisu whispers to herself that this time she gains more than she expected. Koyamori doesn't find any guest tonight. After saying goodbye to Nazuna, he goes to the school with Akira and Seiki. There is no one in the school late at night. Just then, Seiki tells a rumor about the school. It is said that there is a teacher missing for 10 years, but he is found showing up at night recently. They take it as a joke, but the teacher really shows up with a horrible look. He rushes towards Akira, drooling. Seiki quickly stops the teacher, while Koyamori stands still. He smells a familiar scent on this teacher. Luckily, he comes to his senses soon and hits the teacher with a chair, finally saving Akira. Koyamori is sure that the scent on this teacher is the scent of vampires. But the teacher is so horrible and is completely different from the vampires he knows. The teacher lies on the floor and resists his desire to suck blood. He controls his body, repeatedly asking Koyamori and his friends to run away quickly because he is almost out of control. Just then, Uguisu shows up. She has been investigating the disappearance of this teacher and has known that the teacher in front of her is a vampire since long ago. Unexpectedly, she shows her neck and lets him suck blood. After sucking her blood, the teacher says her blood is not tasty. It is the teacher's first time sucking blood, and for 10 years he has restrained his desire. Before he became a vampire, the teacher had been unaware of the existence of such creatures. He was tricked by a woman to become a vampire by accident, and it was very painful to suppress his desire to suck blood all these years. Uguisu comforts him, putting a silver ring in the teacher's hand and saying, "I will let you die as a human." At the moment of sunrise, sunlight shines on the teacher, and his body turns into ashes and completely disappears from this world. The three students are stunned. Uguisu tells them that as a detective taking cases to find people, she often gets involved in cases related to vampires. That's why she knows how to deal with vampires. Just then, Koyamori can't hold back and angrily questions Uguisu why she killed this teacher. "Vampires are monsters," Uguisu replies. "And there are various kinds of vampires, which Koyamori may not know." Her words come as a terrible blow to him. Does he really know about vampires? Koyamori begins to think about whether it is the right decision of becoming a vampire. He tells Nazuna about the experience and Nazuna tells him that the teacher must have reached the limit of his desire to suck blood. Vampires will die if they don't suck blood for 10 years. But she is different from the teacher. When Koyamori sees Nazuna's lovely face, he convinces himself that he was just frightened by the out-of-control vampire. He apologizes to Nazuna for his emotions and offers his blood to her as an apology. Koyamori thinks he can control his emotion well after he knows the reason of his unease. At night, Seiki asks Koyamori out alone. He already knew that Koyamori wants to become a vampire. But as his friend, Seiki is worried about whether he will also lose control. Seiki asks him a question. "Why do you want to become a vampire?" Koyamori doesn't know how to answer this for a moment. At first, it was because he likes being free at night. But he has achieved this goal for a while. So what's his purpose of being a vampire now? He finds Nazuna again with this question. Koyamori was so excited when he went out at night for the first time. But as such life becomes his routine, he becomes less excited about it. Nazuna doesn't try to persuade him. Instead, she sincerely reveals that the life of a vampire is boring. What they can do is waiting for the time to pass by. Nazuna can see Koyamori wavering. But she doesn't ask for his answer, and even doesn't suck his blood as usual. Instead, she just licks his neck and leaves. Afterward, Koyamori tells Uguisu that he doesn't know whether he wants to become a vampire for the time being. But he knows Uguisu hates vampires. He doesn't want Uguisu to hurt Nazuna, so he intends to figure out how Uguisu kills a vampire to help Nazuna defend against her. But he failed. Just then, he gets to know that Uguisu has already found out about his contact with the vampire Nazuna, and his dream of becoming a vampire. Uguisu tells Koyamori that he will be killed by other vampires if doesn't turn into a vampire in a year. But if he successfully becomes a vampire, she will kill him. However, if he decides to be a human, she will protect him. Thinking of the contacts with other vampires recently, Koyamori can't approve of her opinion that vampires are all monsters. He flees to the park alone, intending to discuss with Nazuna. But he is worried about exposing Nazuna to Uguisu if he goes to find her. Just when Koyamori is troubled, a female vampire finds him. The female vampire is named Hatsuka. She invites Koyamori to her house. When they are talking, Koyamori gets a shocking news that the female vampire in front of him is a man. And there are both male and female candidates for his partner. The vampire finds Koyamori to know how things are going with him and Nazuna. Koyamori reveals the fact of how Uguisu killed the teacher to Hatsuka, and says he hesitates to be a vampire. Meanwhile, Hatsuka receives a photo of a broken table from his companions. It turns out that not long ago, Nazuna negotiated with other vampires. She knew based on the current situation, Koyamori is probably unable to become a vampire, begging other vampires not to kill him. And they broke the table when they were arguing. Seeing the photo, Hatsuka guesses Nazuna is in danger, because vampires are stricter to vampires. After that, Hatsuka suggests he turn Koyamori to be a vampire. Since Koyamori only wants to be a vampire, it makes no difference for him to be a partner of anyone. His words make Koyamori finally realize his own thought, and he refuses it without hesitation as he only wants to become Nazuna's partner. He asks Hatsuka for the location in the photo, and leaves in a hurry. When he finally arrives, Nazuna has gone. A vampire tells him that Nazuna pays the price for protecting him. Hearing this, Koyamori feels worried. He starts looking for Nazuna everywhere. Finally, he finds her in front of the vending machine where they met for the first time. After making sure that Nazuna didn't get injured, he sincerely confesses his love and he hopes to be with Nazuna forever. But he soon realizes it is an abrupt confession. Just when he is about to say something else, Nazuna grabs him and passionately kisses him, promising to stay with him forever. What Koyamori doesn't know is that the price Nazuna pays is to try her best to make Koyamori fall in love with her. That brings the end of this anime. Koyamori was completely disappointed with his life at first, but then he gradually gets interested in the nightlife. Finally, he can bravely confess his love. It is really impressive. At the end of the story, they confess their love to each other, and Nazuna kisses Koyamori with affection, which prove that love can not only make people become brave, but also make people feel stronger and weaker at the same time. Do you like this anime of love? Comment below to tell me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in my next video.